Oh, there you are, YouTube. Do. Subscribe if you're interested, but also no pressure. Here we got Beast here. It is Wednesday, which you know what that means. It's time to talk about X-Men 97, the continuation of X-Men the Animated Series from the 90s. Today we watched episode 5. Are we at 5 now? I think we are. That's the halfway point because I think there are 10 episodes. Wow, we're halfway there. And this episode is called Remember It. And I think this is like my most favorite episode that did not necessarily feel like the original series. Like, I feel like maybe the first two really felt like the original series, but then the other ones just felt a little more contemporary, or they're adding their own, like, yeah, contemporary spin to it. There's just stuff in it that feels like a type of animation that couldn't be done in the 90s, or there wasn't, not that it couldn't be done, but it wasn't done, basically. Because this one made me think of anime a lot. I haven't watched a lot of anime, but the little bits of anime that I have seen, this one made me think of, like Akira. Again, my anime knowledge is very limited, but there was a moment where I was like, this looks like Akira, and it also just looks like other things that I've seen. But yeah, I don't know. I really liked this. This was about Genosha. This was about Genosha getting admitted into the UN, and a part of the team. Who do we have? We have Magneto, who's now the new leader of the X-Men, and we have Rogue, and we have Gambit. And there's a love triangle right there, which this whole thing with like Rogue and Magneto that we've been seeing. Their relationship, I was just kind of like, what's going on? What is this? Because I don't remember that at all. And it's been hinted at, right? And I'm like, I just don't know what this is. I don't remember this. Maybe it's in the comics, but I do not remember it in the animated series, but maybe it was there. And here it gets explained. It gets explained in this episode. So that gives us some basis for it. I don't necessarily... I'm still maybe a little like... I don't know. I guess I'm a little annoyed with it because I don't know. I think I need to figure out, and Rogue said this, but I need to go back and watch it, like when this was all happening, because a pet peeve of mine in shows, in movies, is when they just toss something in and then they're like, oh yeah, here's something you didn't know about because it was happening off screen. It's like, I don't know if I like that. My example I always give is, I think is Jurassic World 2, when they're like, here's Hammond's partner. You didn't know anything about him, but here he is. And it's like, don't add somebody and say he was there the entire time. I don't like that sort of thing. So that's kind of how I felt about their relationship. It was like they're just throwing this out here and they're like, it's been this way. And it's like, what? I don't know anything about this. But anyway, the three of them are at Genosha, and it is just so cool to see all of the cameos in Genosha, like the Morlocks. We're seeing so many Morlocks. We're just seeing other characters that we just may recognize from the comics or the show, even. Who there? I mean, some characters, we did get to. I guess they were less of a cameo, but. Did have a place in the original series, and that's Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler shows up. He's great. I think he's like my third or fourth favorite X-Men. Yeah, it was just so cool to see all of these characters again. We see Sebastian Shaw, we see Moira McTaggart, and we see Emma Frost, and it was just awesome to see all these people. Although the Hellfire Club I've never been that big of a fan of, but I don't know, maybe they can start growing on me now that I'm older and not a kid watching. But yeah, so they're there, and there's stuff going on at home too, at Xavier's mansion. Even stuff with Beast. Beast is like being interviewed, so is Scott Summers, and Scott's all losing it during the taping of the interview, and he's just like struggling because he left his he abandoned his child, and that's really tough for him right now. Um, Gosh, I don't know how much is there also to talk about. Like there was a lot of information in this because like he's still talking to Madelyne Pryor psychically while he's now with Jean Grey, and gosh, oh man, and then so okay, let me get back to Genosha. They're there for the UN thing. There's like a gala that's happening, and um, gosh, Gambit is getting ready for it. He's like getting dressed in this awesome suit. Gambit just looks so cool. He's like my second favorite X-Men. And Rogue comes up to see him, and they're having issues because, he loves her, she loves him, but she's with Magneto, and she finds out she can, touch Magneto. Oh gosh, and they alluded to some stuff because she can touch him. Whew. Whoa. Um, but they just have like this conversation that just makes me want to weep, and it was just so good and sad and heartfelt, and I don't know, it was rough. It was like the X-Men melodrama that I love. That's what it was. It was the melodramatic X-Men was in this episode, and it was so good. So yeah, they're at this gala, and then this like super sentinel shows up with like 3 heads or something like that like spins around, and he's starting to destroy everything. Oh gosh, and I even forgot to say, so Madelyne Pryor, she like lives on Genosha. She's like a cabinet member or something like that. And then Cable just shows up out of nowhere, and he's like, "Mom, be careful. Something bad's about to happen." And then he gets like sucked back into the future or something. And she's like, "What?" And then that's when the Sentinel appears. And the Sentinel's just destroying the place, and it's all being televised so the X-Men at home can watch it all. And it's like it's devastating to see. I mean, we almost lose Nightcrawler during all of this madness that's going on. Like he comes so close to death. I mean, I think I thought he was dead until and Rogue tried to help him, but she couldn't because her hands were visible and uncovered, and she couldn't help him. And she's just like, "We need somebody to help him. I can't do it, or I'll kill him." And then Gambit rushes in and then touches him, checks his pulse and sees that he's alive. And I mean, this was an emotional episode. This was wild. Like I was like feeling like I wanted to cry. I didn't cry, but I like had all those feelings like building up in me. And then like the Super Sentinel is like trying to kill Magneto, who's trying to save all these Morlocks. And then I think I'm spoiling here, but I'm pretty sure that Super Sentinel killed Magneto and the Morlocks. And Magneto, he turns to Leech, and he's like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but basically like, you don't have to be scared, you don't have to be afraid, or something like that. Leech, I don't know if you know Leech, but he's like a kid mutant. Actually, I think he's like their version of him is in X-Men 3. But gosh, and then I think they get obliterated. So we almost lost Nightcrawler. Like he's near death. And Magneto, I think, was killed, and the Morlocks that he was trying to save. The Morlocks are like the sewer people from the original animated series, like Callisto and people like that, covered in scorpions, and people like that. Also, so yeah, the Sentinel the Sentinel kills Magneto, I think. I mean, I need to go back and watch this because that's what I saw. That the Super Sentinel kills Magneto, and then Rogue, and Magneto's like tying up Rogue and Gambit in a bunch of because Rogue's trying to like help, and he's like, "Don't help, you'll die." So he's like wrapping her up in metal and stuff, and then it looks like the Sentinel killed Magneto, and then she like bursts through all this metal and then just starts flying straight towards this super scary 5-headed, 3-headed, 4-headed, I don't know what Sentinel. She's like zooming that direction, and this is when it starts like looking like anime or something like that. I mean, this is like Superman, speed type stuff, just like ready to just drill through this Sentinel. And Gambit's like, she not gonna make it. And then like he knows the Sentinel's just gonna blast her and kill her. So he like charges up this motorcycle and then just zooms down, and now I'm thinking about Akira, right? And it is charged, and then he like, I don't know, pops a wheelie and then lets go of it, and then it knocks Rogue away. He knows she's strong, she'll be okay by getting hit by a motorcycle. So it was, she almost got blasted by the Sentinel, and I'm just giving you a play by play. And then and he saves her by that, and then Gambit then decides, I'm gonna take the Sentinel down, you know, because it's just killed all these people and it's almost killed Rogue, and he's just like, I'm gonna take care of this. He like grabs his staff and he's like doing all sorts of awesome stuff, and like long jumping or high jumping towards the Sentinel, and then he's like coming towards it, and it's just like looking epic. It's looking like this epic battle, and then all of a sudden you hear some sound like that, and then you see Gambit, and I'm thinking, did he just get stabbed? Was he just, did they just kill Gambit? That's where I was at with this. And then it went to a wide shot, and then we see, oh gosh, we see the Sentinel like had this like tentacle, pointy tentacle, that it shoved through his side, like he was like stabbed through the side here, and like blood's pouring down his face, and it's like he's dead. But then he smiles, like that sort of smile, like, you didn't just kill me. And then he gives one of his most classic lines. The name's Gambit. Remember it. And then the thing starts to charge. Oh no, actually I did that out of order. I'm sorry, I ruined that. But the you know, with his power, he starts to charge that tentacle. He starts to charge it, and then it starts charging up the entire Sentinel, and then the Super Sentinel's about to blow up, and that's when he gives his classic line, the name's Gambit, remember it. And then it blows up, but blowing it up, you know, took Gambit down. And Gambit's fallen to the ground. People are surrounding him. And what do we see in the middle? Rogue is holding him, cradling him with her bare hands, touching his skin. And she's not feeling him because he's dead. They did it. They killed Gambit, at least until the next episode, you know, but I don't know. But it was like incredibly emotional, especially with that melodrama that was going on earlier, because what they were talking about was how she loves him, but she can't touch him. And he's like, I'm okay with that. And she's like, I'm not. And then after that conversation, and then seeing her hold him, with her hands against his skin, and nothing was happening. It was just like, in only death can she do that. And she wanted to touch him so badly. So badly. For as long as we've known them together. And she couldn't do it except in death. It was an emotional episode. I mean, it was, I think, one of the greatest they've ever done. I think it was great. Man. So yeah, we got that classic line, the name's Gambit, remember it. And that's why the episode title is Remember It. But also, not only did we get that, but we got one of Beast's classic lines that I love, one of my favorite ones of his. Like, oh my stars and garters is good, but I always love when he goes, oh dear. And he does that like Scott Summers. He's like, I don't know. Here he and Jean are like fighting or whatever, and he can hear it. And he goes, oh dear. And I loved it. Anyway, oh my gosh, what an episode. What an episode. That was such a good episode, and we're at the halfway point. I don't know if they can top that, honestly. That was fantastic. That was good. And I can't believe how good it was, even though I just was not buying into the Rogue Gambit relationship. Sorry. I've always bought into that. I wasn't buying into the Rogue Magneto relationship because I every time it was shown on screen or hinted at, I was like, am I forgetting something? Should I have rewatched the show? Because I instead of just accepting it, I was like, one, I don't like it, but two, am I forgetting something? Because it wasn't, nothing was clicking. I was like, I don't remember them together at all, or having a history together, or anything like that. So it was all confusing. So for me to sort of for all of that to sort of take me out of the show, and for this episode to still have that emotional impact that it had, I think is fantastic. This was very, very good. Very good. Sorry to spoil it. I mean, man, I don't know. But that's kind of my walkthrough, my run through of the episode. I know it's full of spoilers, but I think that's just the point of this one. I just had to talk it out loud. I needed to say it out loud and just kind of get through it, I guess. I don't know. Man, oh man. Anyway, did you like the episode? What did you think? Is there a history of Magneto and Rogue and I'm just not remembering it? I mean, you know, probably in the comics or whatever, but I'm talking about in the show. Like, am I forgetting something? Or is it all just in this season and explained by Rogue there to Gambit? Okay, I don't know, but just a good episode. What did you think? Let me know in the comments below, and perhaps we'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.